Care to make a little more noise next time?
How else would you know it was me? Basso did tell you we were working together on this, right?
Well, I showed up, so what do you think?
I think you haven't changed a bit. Come on, it'll be just like old times.
The year was 2014. Stealth gaming fans had been waiting over a decade for the return of Garrett, the Master Thief. The original Thief trilogy defined what stealth games could be. Tense, atmospheric experiences where shadows were your best friend, and violence was always your last resort. When Square Enix announced they were rebooting the franchise, expectations ran high. What we got was a hollow shell that carried the Thief name, but forgot everything that made the series special. Today, we are examining why Thief 2014 wasn't just a disappointment, it was a fundamental misunderstanding of what made stealth gaming work.
Glad you could make it.
Did you pick that route because it was fast or because you thought it'd be fun?
Can it be both?
Understanding why Thief 2014 failed requires looking at what came before. The original Thief games weren't just stealth titles, they were immersive sims that respected player intelligence. Garrett moved through complex, interconnected levels where multiple solutions existed for every problem. You could ghost through without touching anything, knock out guards systematically, or find creative combinations of tools and routes. The sound design was revolutionary, every footstep mattered. Different surfaces created different noise levels. Guards had realistic hearing ranges and investigation patterns. The light and shadow system wasn't just a visual flair, it was core gameplay. Standing in darkness made you invisible, but you had to balance stealth with visibility to navigate. Most importantly, the original games trusted players to figure things out on their own. There were no waypoints, no hand-holding tutorials that dragged on for hours. You learned by experimenting, failing, and trying again. Thief 2014 abandoned every single one of these principles. From the moment you start Thief 2014, it becomes clear this isn't really a Thief game. It's a generic action stealth hybrid wearing Thief's clothes. The developers took the most superficial elements, a hooded protagonist, some Victorian-esque architecture, and the basic concept of stealing things, while gutting everything that makes the series work. The level design exemplifies the problem. Instead of the sprawling, interconnected maps of the originals, Thief 2014 presents narrow corridors disguised as open areas. You're constantly funneled down predetermined paths, with artificial barriers blocking exploration. The game pretends to offer choice, while actually providing none. Take the guard AI, which should be the heart of any stealth game. In the originals, guards felt like real people with patrol routes, conversations, and believable reactions to disturbances. They would investigate noises, call for backup, and adapt their behavior based on what they found. Thief 2014's guards are mindless automatons. They follow rigid, predictable patterns. Their investigation routes are shallow and easily exploited. Worse, the game often spawns guards in response to players' actions rather than placing them naturally in the environment. This destroys the sense of inhabiting a real space and reduces stealth to a series of cheap tricks. One of the most baffling decisions was the focus system, a supernatural detective vision that highlights interactive objects and shows enemy positions through walls. This single feature demolishes the core tension of stealth gaming. The beauty of classic Thief was uncertainty. You had to observe, listen, and make educated guesses about guard positions and patrol routes. Every corner turned was a risk. Every step required consideration. The focus system eliminates all of this by giving you X-ray vision and magical object highlighting. The developers defended focus by claiming it made the game more accessible, but accessibility doesn't require a moving challenge, it requires clear communication of rules and consequences. The original Thief games were perfectly accessible because they taught you their systems through consistent logical design. Focus represents a fundamental misunderstanding of what players want from stealth games. We don't want supernatural assistance, we want to feel clever for figuring things out ourselves.
I thought both you and Aaron had been killed in the mansion attack. Where the hell have you been?
I don't know.
You don't know. Fine. Forget it.
Beyond design problems, Thief 2014 was plagued by technical issues that persisted long after launch. Loading times were excessive, breaking immersion with frequent interruptions. The PC version suffered from poor optimization, stuttering frame rates, and inconsistent performance across different hardware configurations. The climbing system deserves special mention for being actively terrible. Garrett can only climb on predetermined surfaces marked with white cloth strips. This transforms exploration from a creative exercise into a treasure hunt for designated interaction points. When you find these climbing spots, the animations are clunky and unreliable, often causing Garrett to fall or get stuck on geometry. Even basic movement feels wrong. Garrett's footsteps sound identical across all surfaces, destroying the careful audio design that defined the series. The mantling system is inconsistent. Sometimes you can climb onto objects, sometimes you cannot, with no clear rules governing what's possible.
Most people come here for the stores, but I tend to do my shopping after everything's locked up for the night. There's the clock tower, one of the tallest buildings in the city, a good landmark day or night. And finally, the Stone Market Plaza. More vendors, more people. No doubt the City Watch will be keeping an eye out for pickpockets like me, though.
The original Garrett was a professional thief with a distinct personality, cynical, competent, and motivated by personal gain rather than heroic ideals. His voice acting brought wit and character to every line. Garrett felt like someone who had mastered his craft through years of experience. Thief 2014's Garrett is a generic video game protagonist spouting forgettable dialogue. The decision to replace Russell was controversial enough, but the new voice actor delivers lines with no personality or character. The story itself is incomprehensible nonsense about ancient curses and supernatural plagues, where the originals grounded their fantasy elements in believable world building. The reboot throws magical explanations at everything without establishing consistent rules or logic. The supporting characters are equally hollow. Basso, Garrett's fence from the originals, returns as a one-dimensional quest giver. New characters like Erin exist solely to advance the convoluted plot. None of them feel like real people inhabiting this world.
Looks like this primal stone thing that Basso wants is in the ceremony room at Northcrest Manor.
It's the Baron's mansion.
Worried?
Yes, so should you.
We'll be fine. I'll pick up your slack.
This job's getting more complicated by the second.
Instead of the discrete missions of the original games, Thief 2014 attempts an open hub world called The City. This sounds promising in theory, a large area to explore with numerous heist opportunities and secrets to discover. In practice, the city is a collection of narrow alleyways connected by loading screens. The geography makes no sense, to be honest. Areas that should connect are separated by impassable barriers. The entire space feels artificial, like a movie set rather than a living city. The side missions scattered throughout the city are uniformly terrible. Simple fetch quests with no interesting mechanics or storytelling. They exist purely to pad the game's length without adding meaningful content. Navigation is a constant frustration, the map is unhelpful, landmarks are scarce, and the similar-looking alleyways create constant confusion. Getting from point A to point B becomes a chore rather than an opportunity for exploration. The story missions should showcase the game's strengths, but they highlight its weaknesses instead. Levels are linear paths disguised as open areas. Multiple routes exist, it's true, but they all lead to the same checkpoints and scripted sequences. The objectives are uninspired. Steal this item, reach this location, flip the switch. There is no creativity in the goals or the methods required to achieve them. The originals featured memorable scenarios, like infiltrating a mansion during a party or breaking into a cathedral. Thief 2014's missions are forgettable the moment you complete them. Scripted sequences frequently interrupt gameplay to show you something cinematic, usually Garrett climbing dramatically or the camera panning across a vista. These breaks destroy the immersion that stealth games depend on. You're constantly reminded that you're playing a video game rather than inhabiting Garrett's world. Someone decided that Thief needed RPG-like progression systems. Garrett of this game possesses a mysterious machine that immediately turns everything he steals into gold coins, making him obviously irreplaceable as a force balancing local economy. The gold can be spent on usable materials and equipment or donated to the beggars for the upgrade points, which will make him even more superhuman and reduce the believability of the game even further. He can see the sounds, he can become stealthier, he can become faster, etc. And I cannot agree that this mechanic was actually needed. The original games gave you a set of tools and expected you to master them. Each arrow type had specific uses and limited quantities, forcing strategic thinking. Every piece or item can be moved, thrown or used somehow else to assist on the mission. Here, you just have to manage the loops of guards' patrols or entertain yourself pretending that it is Dishonored. Unfortunately, it is not. A proper Thief sequel wouldn't have been really difficult to design. Take core mechanics of the originals, complex level design, realistic AI, meaningful stealth system, and upgrade them with modern technology, improve the graphics and performance while keeping the gameplay intact. Instead of focus, give players better visual feedback about light levels and noise. Instead of narrow corridors, create large, interconnected spaces with multiple approaches to every objective. Instead of generic fantasy plots, write stories that explore the world's established lore and characters. I would even be satisfied with a set of continuous missions with their self-contained stories without unifying and overarching plots. Short stories, short missions, limitless gameplay potential, kinda like MGS5 but with less pathos, shooting and shitting horses. The technology of 2014 already existed to make this happen. Games like Dishonored proved that immersive sims could work with modern audiences. The demand was there. Fans had been requesting a new Thief game for years.
I read that before the Baron was born, the city was at war.
Read it, did you? Oh, bloody friggin' duh.
Thief 2014 represents one of the gaming's greatest missed opportunities. The stealth genre had stagnated, with most games focusing on action over pure stealth, and leaving us with rudimentary hiding in tall grass, but that's the topic for another discussion. A proper Thief sequel could have revitalized the entire genre and demonstrated that challenging, intelligent game design still had an audience. Instead, we got a product that satisfied really nobody. Longtime fans felt betrayed by the abandonment of everything they loved about the series. New players found a mediocre stealth game with outdated mechanics and technical problems. Critics recognized the wasted potential, but couldn't recommend the final product as well. The saddest part of Thief 2014's failure is how it fits into a broader pattern of publishers misunderstanding what made classic games special. The focus on making games accessible often means removing challenge and complexity. The emphasis on modern features frequently conflicts with core design principles. Stealth games require patience, observation, and careful planning. These aren't outdated concepts that need modernizing. They are timeless gameplay elements that distinguish stealth from other genres. By trying to appeal to everyone, Thief 2014 ended up appealing to no one as a result. The stealth gaming community is still waiting for a proper successor to the original Thief trilogy. Until someone understands that the series' strength came from respecting player intelligence and creating genuine challenge, we'll keep getting hollow imitations like this one. Thief 2014 stands as another warning about the dangers of rebooting beloved franchises without understanding what made them beloved. The name recognition might get people in the door, but only genuine respect for the source material will keep them there. In the end, Thief 2014 didn't just fail, it demonstrated exactly how not to revive a classic game series. All I gotta say is that the history and the shadows remember what made Garrett special, even if the developers forgot.